Today we've got this 2017 Audi Q7 in for a full paint correction and ceramic coating. We're going to be taking you through all the steps that we do to make this car look as clean as possible. This car has been sitting outside for a long time now. There's a lot of bird poop on there. There's a lot of water droplets. So all that kind of stuff has etched into the paint. It's also gone through a lot of touch car washes. This means there's a lot of swirling, a lot of that light scratching. So what we're going to be doing today is going over with that paint correction to get all that etching out of there, all those swirls, all those scratches out as best as possible before we go ahead and protect the car with a professional 5-year ceramic coating. The first thing we gotta do is move it into our wash bay so that we can start washing it. First step to every wash is the wheels and tires, so let's get started. The first thing we're gonna do is rinse those wheels and wheel wells, try to get any loose dirt off there, and then we're gonna spray it down with a degreaser. We're gonna go through the wheels and actually scrub pretty thoroughly, try to get into the barrel of that wheel before we go ahead and rinse it all off. And then we're gonna follow up with a wheel acid to really try to get them cleaned up, try to get as much of that brake dust out of there and rinse it off one more time. Then we're gonna go ahead and rinse the entire vehicle off before we go ahead and start our pre-wash or our non-contact wash. The non-contact is really important to try to get that top layer of dirt off so that when you do go into your contact wash, you're not just scrubbing around a bunch of sand or dirt and causing more swirls. For our non-contact wash, sometimes we end up using an APC. In this case, we're using a degreaser that is extremely diluted, just trying to bring up any of that top layer before we rinse it all off again. Once we finish the pre-wash, we're gonna go ahead and get our foam cannon and do the contact wash. So we'll go ahead and spray the entire car up with this soap, and then we're gonna actually take a microfiber towel and go ahead and wash the entire car. So that means wiping all over every single spot of the entire vehicle, making sure we're getting on the bottom of that trim, all on the top. Every possible spot of the car needs to get contact wash before we rinse it all down again. Now that we finished the contact wash, it's time to decontaminate the car. We'll use an iron fallout remover and a clay bar to do this process. The iron fallout remover, we're just gonna spray all over the vehicle, just let it sit for a little bit, try to get some of those contaminants off before we rinse it off. And then we'll go through very thoroughly with the clay bar, trying to get anything that might be on there. This can range from bugs, tar, road grime, minerals, anything that might still be on that paint. We wanna get that off before we go into the paint correction process. Now that we've done the full exterior wash and decontamination for the Q7, it's time to get into the paint correction. We're gonna be doing a 2-step paint correction on this, trying to get out any of the water spots, anything else that might be etched into that clear coat. Here are the tools and products that we're gonna be using for this 2-step paint correction. Starting off, we've got a 6-inch random orbital polisher, and we've got a microfiber as well as a black foam polishing pad. This is gonna be our cutting pad. This is gonna be our polishing pad. Then we have a Pro Speed compound from Meguiar's and a Pro Speed polish from Meguiar's. These are gonna go on the respective pads. So we've got the compound on the cutting microfiber cutting pad and the polish going on the black finishing foam pad. We've also got this 3-inch random orbital polisher that's going to be going on these body lines as well as any smaller panels. And again, we've got that microfiber pad and the black finishing foam pad. To start the paint correction, we're going to use this microfiber pad on our 6-inch polisher, and we're going to put about 4 to 5 dots of the cutting compound on our pad, then go ahead and spread it on the surface of the vehicle that we're going to be working in, just trying to tap it around all over so that those spots have some of that compound on it. Then on the lowest speed on your polisher, we're gonna go ahead and work that in. Make sure that every spot of your working area has some of that compound on it, and your microfiber pad also has compound on it. We're gonna go on to a higher setting and go very, very slowly now over all parts of the working area, and we're going to do this in a hash pattern. So that means we're going up and down, and then once we finish our working area, we're going to go side across. We'll do this for a few passes, making sure that we can get those deeper defects out. With a fresh microfiber, you can go ahead and wipe off the compound to make sure that you've actually got the results that you're looking for. So you're looking to get those deep scratches out. If there's still some deeper scratches in there, you can go over it a few more times. Just keep in mind that every car does react differently, and you need to know how many passes you're going to do for the entire vehicle. Then you're going to go through the entire vehicle with your cutting compound and your cutting pad. Once you finish that, you're going to do the exact same process with your polishing pad and your polishing product. After doing a test spot with the cut and the polish, go ahead and make sure the car is looking the way you want it to. Here you can see that even in the daylight outside, it's looking really crystal clear. It's looking like a mirror finish. So now we know we can achieve these results. We're going to go ahead and finish off the entire vehicle before we move on to the ceramic coating. A pretty big tip here is to make sure that you're using fresh, completely new microfiber towels so that there's no debris on them when you you are wiping off your product. Then you'll also go ahead and use that 3-inch polisher to get any pillars or tighter body lines across the vehicle. Now that we've finished the cutting and the polishing, we can see how clear the paint is, and it's important that we go ahead and prep the vehicle for the ceramic coating. So for this, we're going to go ahead and take an isopropyl alcohol spray to wipe down the entire vehicle, making sure that there's no debris, no compound, no waxes left on the vehicle, so that the ceramic coating can properly bond to that clear coat. This Audi Q7 is getting a 2-layer ceramic coating, with the base layer being the G-Technic Crystal Serum Light, also known as CSL, which is rated for 3 to 5 years of protection with proper maintenance, and this will provide the majority of the protection for the ceramic coating. On top of that, we're going to be doing a topper layer, which is G-Technic's XO5, which will provide added hydrophobic tendencies as well as added gloss to the vehicle, just making sure that we've got as much protection for this vehicle as possible. To apply the ceramic coating, we're simply going to put it on our applicator pad and spread it evenly over our small section that we're working on. We're going to cross hatch to ensure that we're getting total coverage across that entire area. And for G-Technic, especially for CSL, the product will begin to sweat when it's ready to be buffed off. So you're going to take a brand new microfiber to buff off any of that extra or excess ceramic coating, and then use the other side to completely dry it off. You can use 2 separate microfiber towels, one to buff off the excess and the second one to completely dry it off. It's very important that you go ahead and buff off all the excess in a timely manner, and you don't just let it sit there, because otherwise it'll harden and create what are called high spots. They'll look kind of like oily layers on top of the clear coat, and this just means that you didn't buff it off in time, or that the ceramic coating hasn't been installed properly. You won't have that clear glass finish. You'll have an oily kind of slick rainbow color to it, which is not what you're looking for. Once we've got that base layer of CSL on the vehicle, we're going to give it at least 2 hours to harden a little bit before we go ahead and apply the G-Technic EXO, that topper layer, and we're doing the exact same steps to apply that topper layer. Once you're finished applying the ceramic coatings, both the base layer and the topper layer, or if you only go for a 1-layer ceramic coating, make sure that you let the vehicle cure inside or in a controlled environment. Different ceramic coatings have different curing times. For G-Technic, it's roughly 12 hours. So we're going to leave it in the shop for 12 hours and come back to it to see how it looks and check out those hydrophobic tendencies. We've done the 2-step paint correction, and we've done 2 layers of ceramic coating, and it's sat overnight in the shop. Now that we've had 12 hours to let the ceramic coating cure, it's time to pull the car out and take a look. As you can see here, we're going to pour a little bit of water onto the vehicle, and you can see just how clearly everything is coming off. It's beading straight off. The car doesn't want any of that water on there, and that's a good thing. It's going to make it significantly easier for us to wash and maintain this vehicle going forward. We've been having some storms recently, and here's a quick look at an unprotected, this is the wrap on the car versus the ceramic coated paint corrected car. They've both been out in the storm. You can tell very clearly that this car is extremely dirty from the rain, from everything kind of sitting on it. And this car, after driving it a little bit, yeah, it has a couple spots like that, but overall up here on the hood, it's looking pretty good. So it can still use a wash, but holding up pretty well. And once you've got your car paint corrected and ceramic coated, it's time to clean out the interior, but that's going to be for the next video.